French countries, this is Louis. And then a couple other variants. There is Louise. This is the female version. And then there's Lois. I've had this one since I was a kid. My family has called me Lois. From this, Louis, the French version, if you only use this is Lou. So that one's kind of a newer one that people have called me. And I have a coworker, Charlie. And from Lou, he calls me Lulu. I fucking hate him.
Someone get this shit down. Make sure to write this like down as like
going
pin
know
by
what to call him now.
This is why we editor, computer, write down what Luis is writing down. And now one of the other biggest questions I have is, Marissa, is it with 2 R's or 1 R?
It's 1 R, 2 S's.
It's SIRAM spelled backwards.
Yeah.
One R?
1 R, 2 S's.
There's like several different ways to spell my name too.
In English, most of the time, there's not double R's.
And do you know what the worst part is?
If it makes it easier, in Spanish, there's no double S's. So if you see a word with 2 S's, then it's in English. Like the word bus, that has 2 S's.
Yeah.
But in Spanish, they also say bus, but it comes from autobus. But they don't spell it with 2 S's. So if you see a word with 2 S's, then it's likely English. But if you see double R, it's a lot more likely to be Spanish.
Double R is Spanish, but double S is English.
Yeah, he's learning.
I think there are cases where there's 2 R's, like a word next to each other.
Now with Cesar.
See if he spells my name right, actually. I feel like you won't just.
Fuck, I totally forgot how to spell Cesar.
I feel like you won't just like spite me.
Oh wait, hold on.
Yeah.
There's Cesar, but everyone calls him Caesar.
That's an A.
Fuck.
I'll see white folks.
And then how I think it's spelled.
Stu go put like 2 S's.
No, I put Casar. Sar. And then there's the one with the U. It was like, how do you spell it? It's like
Seizure? Ceasure?
Maybe let's just say E. Let's We're one step closer. Not at all, actually. Now, how I
feel
think
like
my name is spelled.
I feel like phonetically, you say Cesar's name like this.
That's fucked up.
But no, he's talking about like the sounds. Jason.
When I say Cesar?
I think that's how you pronounce his name phonetically.
Cesar.
And then here's how my name's spelled. But I have been confused. What the? No! With the Y. Someone's giving me a Y. But the worst one I've seen.
You're the son of Ja, not the son of J.
I've seen someone spell my name with an E. That one fucked me up.
Oh, when you said spelled like with a Y like that, I thought you meant like.
Jason. That's always thought my name was like said in Spanish, but it's Hassan.
Yeah, J's don't make the same sound in Spanish.
Yeah.
They make the G sound.
Jason, the way you say you don't like it spelled?
Yeah.
There's a guy at my work that spells it like that.
Fuck that guy.
Like that? Wait, who?
Like this one?
Yeah, like the bottom one.
That's fucked up. That That one fucked me up mentally.
Well, okay, so in Spanish, an H is silent. So your mom would have been calling you ason, like ason.
There's a lot of trauma being unlocked right now.
Like the name Hector, in Spanish, you don't pronounce the H.
Hector? I've been calling Hector the wrong name this whole time.
Well, you've been pronouncing it in English. I think some are more pronounced than others. Like obviously, if someone says their name is Nicholas, and you're like, oh, Nicolás, they're like, what?
Yeah, that is true.
Or like Thomas y Tomás.
And then, how do we? Hold on, maybe we should. Damn, I haven't moved this at all.
Dusty. Hey, I was gonna.
It's alright. You gave up the spot to do whatever this lesson is.
And then we have to. This is what we're getting out of this. Is the whole Luis, Louis, Louis, Lois, Lou, and Lulu or Luis. This is how I've been saying Cesar's name. That's how I spell my name. I've seen a lot of people spell this name. Thank you for holding, by the way.
Yeah, you're welcome.
And then
With
this is
people.
the way I hate it the most. And now I need someone to answer this question. When did William translate to Billy? I need someone to answer that question, please.
That I want to know the Spanish one. I want to know why they call people named Jesus Chewy.
That is also true. Or Pablo is also short for Jaime? No. What was it?
I know Paco is short for Francisco.
Yeah. Paco. We also need to discuss that one too. Like, why is Paco Francisco?
Wait, Jason, but you're missing like the biggest one.
Ah, no.
Do you
That
know
one
what?
Richard one?
No, no, that's not what I was going to
Oh,
say.
which one were you gonna say?
How does Jason turn into J Diddy?
It's a lot of baby oil.
Thank you so much for this episode. We highly appreciate it. I don't know. I feel like we're not giving this for the viewers right here.
This episode was brought to you by
Baby oil and Costco bulk ordering.
I was gonna
But
say
wait,
Duolingo, but
Okay, isn't like the William and like Billy things is like it's like 2 steps away? Because like it gets shortened to like Will, and for some reason some people are like instead of being like Will go by Billy or Bill.
so
Actually, I guess that's 3 steps away.
William gets shortened to Will, and Will gets
Bill.
mistaken for Bill.
I don't know. I think something like that, you know. And then eventually Bill turned into like Billy for some other reason.
Pizza.
I'm getting to the point.
It takes you that long. Yes, it does. I'm getting there.
Wait, how does he look again? Oracle.
Same thing, but it's like instead of the hat, just draw like a little laurel on him.
Oh yeah, that's right. How are these two things? Sorry.
You're good.
Not identical.
It's a little Caesar's guy and
Is that supposed to be Charlie and the little Caesar guy?
yeah.
I was like I can't see it, but in the reflection it looks like Charlie to me.
Charlie and little Caesar.
America, explain this. The Arkansas and Kansas. Why is it not called Arkansas? Someone explain that.
Arkansas.
It's 2 separate states, Jason.
And then, when did we lose?
Is there a trash can in here?
Oh fuck!
This is your recycling bin.
When did we lose RAR XD? That was a real question.
Still around, Jason.
Not a lot of people RAR XD anymore.
Well, because
You're in
You
the
know-
wrong community.
You know what people don't do anymore? No one's bullying anymore.
That
Remember
is-
people used to just be bowling?
Hold on, get the red one. There should be.
That's a
red mark.
Sharpie.
Fuck. Okay, we do not have a red Sharpie, but also
I thought you said booing and not.
that too. What happened to booing? When did we lose?
Did Tyler the Creator know what he was saying when he said what's it? Or no, wait, that wasn't Tyler the Creator. Who said? Was it Lil Wayne that said what's a goon to a goblin?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Did he know what he meant?
What
He said
happened to that emoji? We need to bring that emoji.
Actually-
the bee emoji.
it's still there. What do you mean?
But no one uses it.
Why not? Why don't you use
No,
it?
I do use it.
Nah, that feels like an iPhone kind of thing. Like that's on you if you're not using the bee emoji or like the 100 or the fire emoji. Like that's
Something dropped. I don't know what dropped.
Cat. No cat.
quit the cap.
Oh, that's what dropped.
I'm stealing this.
No, fucking drop the mic.
I don't know. By the way, this episode is sponsored
Thank
by. What are we sponsored by today?
I thought you said baby oil.
Hey, what's the real sponsor?
Jesus
Please, please give us something else. We can now be sponsored by baby oil.
All right. When's the next pack opening, Jason? I think I forgot to send it to your Instagram when you posted that pack. So
Oh, when am I opening a pack?
When are you opening a PO box?
Oh shit.
Like you said.
No, just kidding.
no, you like posted a Pokemon pack on your Instagram, and I was going like, "When's the vid?" But I forgot to send it to you.
I am scared because I remember one of the dishwashers like, let me edit your videos, and I know he's been commenting on my shit.
No, he hasn't. You haven't posted anything in like a year.
Yeah, I know, but he still comments on my shit.
What was his name?
Fuck, I forgot.
That's fucked up. That's your editor.
That's your editor.
Well, they took away the vending machine, so that doesn't help out.
What?
The vending machine, the Pokemon vending machine.
Oh.
they're gone.
That's good.
Yeah, no, for sure they're good. But also now it's harder to get carts, so I'm gonna have to go to the cart shop more often.
Yes, you didn't know this, but he's been in it in the pod too, actually.
I think I don't know
Our
how.
editors?
Yeah.
Oh, he's gone. He's long gone.
I
I'm
don't-
sure he's long gone.
I don't think they're like better prices than anywhere else, but they almost always have like packs in stock at level 7.
But I will have to say this: no hate to level 7, but hate to level 7, but still sponsor us level 7. Their trade-in values are not that good. The card shop has way better trade-in values.
Oh, I think. How much
yeah.
is the upcharge there for like
At
Pokemon
level
cards?
7 or here or at the card
Level
shop?
7. I know the car shop's like $5
they
or
only
$10
give you-
depending what you get.
Last time I remember, they give you 30% back in store credit.
No.
50%.
I'm talking about when you initially buy it because like at the card shop, depending on what set you get, they charge you differently.
Oh yeah, 100%. I don't know. It's been a minute. Wait, no, it hasn't. I went to level 7 not that long ago.
I go, but I never look at the cards.
I do need to go. I need to get my Switch fixed. So level 7, you are gonna get business.
You not Lego. Ain't gonna get shit.
Why? What happened to Lego?
I don't know. I've been just watching that like Lego scandal with that one dude who was like, "Yeah, my dad sold all of my
Wait, okay, that wasn't Legos doing that. That was at like one company.
yeah, like sorry, bricks and minifigs. My bad. We're not doing no business with no bricks and minifigs."
Jason doesn't care. He'll sell his soul.
I lost my soul.
You'll sell it. He said.
Oh, my bad.
I mean, you might have sold it already. I don't know.
Maybe. That is a good observation right there. What is Marissa trying?
I don't know.
I kind of thought it was like the Bat character from that one game that you didn't actually need to play. You could just like watch someone play it on YouTube.
Oh, nice.
What is it called?
Oh, Dispatch.
Yeah.
Charlie's more of a straight Batman versus.
Well, that's what I thought, but then like she added a nose and like the eyes, and I was like, okay, that doesn't look like a bat anymore.
Also, Luis, you're the reason why we don't have subspace.
Wait, why is Luis the reason why they don't have subspace?
No, Sakura is the reason,
No,
and I'm tired of you trying to justify his
You're-
dog shit reasoning.
you're his
thinking,
reasoning.
It's not good reasoning though, and it's
That's
bullshit.
fine, but
Oh, fuck you, fuck all the poor people. I don't want anybody who doesn't have enough money to buy a Wii. Like, sorry, my parents got divorced and I didn't get a Wii.
My parents didn't go get divorced even after I got a Wii. They were just like, "We'll let you deal with the drama
To give you context, Sakurai said he won't ever make another Subspace Emissary because he didn't like the fact that people shared and uploaded the cutscenes.
Oh,
He was like mad that they were on YouTube. And he was like, that's not how you were supposed to experience it. I'm like, yeah, well, I'm poor and I don't have a Wii, so
why is that? Why is that you don't have a Wii?
now I don't have a need for one. I don't know why I would get a Wii now, but when the Wii was relevant and I wanted one,
Come on, PM's making a pushback. I guess this is called. The fuck is it called now? Project Plus.
well, yeah, so did Melee, but that was not a good enough reason to get back into it.
You be able to play GameCube games on there too. You know.
But like, so can my GameCube.
Well, yeah, but you can play Wii and GameCube games.
What do I?
What about the Switch 2?
I never had the Wii, so I don't have any like fond memories of any Wii games. Like Mario Galaxy seemed cool, but like I don't know what else the Wii even had. Like Wii Sports,
Pretty
Wii
much, yeah.
Sports Resort.
Yes.
Yeah, pretty much, yeah.
Why didn't you get Zombie U for the Wii U?
Why didn't you get Modern Warfare 3 for the
For the DS?
yeah?
I did.
You did?
Yeah,
I know.
I really wish I had like a PS Vita. That's what I always wish I had. They seem cool as fuck.
PSP is pretty good. I do.
Also, they had like a bunch of like Grand Theft Auto exclusives for some reason. They were like every time we're making a new Vita or a PSP, like we're releasing an exclusive Grand Theft Auto title with it. It's like here's Chinatown Wars or here's some other. They weren't always the best titles, but I was like, that's kind of cool that you get like a separate Grand Theft Auto that doesn't get released on anything else.
I mean, Chinatown Wars or whatever was also on the DS.
I was about to say.
That's what I mean though. It was like
consoles?
handheld exclusive though. Like you couldn't play it on a console.
No,
And they weren't that great, I'll admit.
I
But
was
like
gonna say-
it seemed really cool the idea of like I want more Grand Theft Auto, but how many times am I gonna replay the story missions? Because like the story missions were cool and I'd done them, but like I had played through all of Grand Theft Auto San Andreas, and they're still fun to be had, but it was like blowing shit up and shooting the cops. But like I was like, I want more, and that was the only content that they were pushing until Grand Theft Auto 4 came out.
Okay, you know, I mean, I guess that's fair, but I was going to say they're not like I had that on DS. It wasn't a great game or anything.
No, none of those like handheld exclusives were particularly good.
I was like, 3 was pretty good.
Yeah, but that was like on consoles.
Wasn't it on the phone too? I mean, you can play San Andreas now on your phone.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah, those are on PSP too.
like when the games were like released and stuff, like San Andreas has been re-released like a dozen times on a bunch of things, but like I don't know if I'm just a purist or what, but like I do kind of feel like some of the better experiences with that same game are gonna come on like original hardware.
I feel like we should take this away from her.
Why? 'Cause I'm having fun.
Mm.
I'm having a good time.
All right, draw it again, but facing you.
No, I can't do that.
What is that? What is that called? Profile shot? No,
Yeah.
profile's the
The
like
side
side.
view.
What is the front view?
Frontal?
I think that's something else you're looking up.
VR.
I don't know. I think they just do it in like increments. Like they're like so like profiles like 3/4, and like partial side view is like 2/4, and then like the front is like 1/4.
You should draw him mogging.
I mean, he kind of is already, you know.
He is quite mogging.
Put like a really square jaw and like a little.
frontal angle.
Frontal anal, you say?
No. Frontal angle or cursed front face. Love it. All the prime examples. One of them was Phineas.
Okay, yeah, that one's definitely cursed.
Definitely cursed.
Jamie, put on some flyleaf.
It is pretty cursed.
The fuck?
The pearl
Why did
one.
they use that picture of Mo? What the fuck?
Yeah, they did Mo dirty.
Let me see. Damn. Why does he look so old?
Yeah, he is pretty old.
Or Bart.
Yeah.
Now he's modern.
Give him a butt chin.
Oh yeah, the Peppa Pig one was crazy.
I don't think that's real, Jason.
You gotta. The only thing is you gotta redo the eyebrows. You got the.
Maybe you're right. I don't
You know what I
think
mean?
that Peppa Pig
Like
one
the.
was real.
Nah, it's one of those ones that
The, like,
like they do
the-
it because they're like.
My
they
name
live
is
in a
Skylar
2D.
White. Yo.
My husband, yo.
And we need a pen.
So no one has seen the Odyssey yet.
No.
Have you?
Yeah.
We were gonna watch it and then that just never happened.
I gave everyone a time and that we were gonna go see it in 70mm IMAX. No one wanted to fuck with it.
No, you didn't. You're like, we do the pod and
And
we
then-
go watch afterwards, and we're waiting for you, and you're like, all right, well, I gotta go work.
No, we went to Saigon Basil. We were all hungry.
So why didn't you say nothing if you wanted to go to the theater? You're the one that suggested Saigon.
This is true. You
I
did.
did not.
No, you did.
Y'all were like,
No,
what
no, no,
should
no,
we
no, no.
eat? I gave so many suggestions.
You also
one of them was
suggested
Saigon.
I don't think I did.
You did.
Jamie, pull that clip back and make
Because we were like, oh yeah, Saigon is open on the weekends now because it used to not be open on Sundays. And you were like, we can go to Saigon.
No, you're like, I want a Vietnamese coffee.
I did. Fuck. Fuck. I don't know why that one dropped back my memory out of everything. Oh, she's actually doing it.
Yeah.
Wait, is this one mocking?
Right? Did you not hear Luis be like,
Yeah, but
"Make a
I
mug"?
didn't think it was gonna happen.
We
It
Jason,
did.
Jason has missed the whole
You missed
conversation
it.
on that.
You missed it, Jason. Done and gone and flipped up.
Yeah, I think we should have taken this away from it.
What do you mean?
Do it, Jason. Do it.
I never found
You
it.
got this. You got this. You
It's,
got this.
it's like not bad, but I don't find it that fun personally to draw. But I did find it fun when like I lived with Ozzy, and like Hana would come over and they'd be like, "We don't know what to draw," and I'd give them prompts. And I'd be like, "Draw like a shrimp, but very like dapper as a gentleman, and draw like a little shrimp with a top hat or something."
Did they actually ever complete them? Because I feel like most of the time I hear about their drawing sections is like them drawing for like 10 minutes and being like, all right, I'm bored. Let me go on my phone.
No, that was
I'm
like the
about to
only
say-
things that they would finish is like the weird prompts that I would give them because Hana would sit down and be like, "All right, we're gonna draw a comic together," and then everyone's like, "I don't really like anyone else's ideas," like, and everyone's just kind of drawing their own thing.
Okay.
I was about to say, didn't y'all were making a comic at one point?
Yeah.
How
But
far did it go?
it didn't go very far because, like, there was no direction. Like, there wasn't, like, alright, today we're drawing, like, scenes. Like, there was one day where, like, we all agreed to, like, draw, like, certain aspects of the comic. And, like, they were like, let's draw, like, drugs. Let's draw, like, the drugs in the comic that we're about to make. And then, like, that was, like, the only day that, like, it ever like was a coherent day for us, and then every other day would be like, all right, draw this character, draw your character, and then we draw our characters, and then nothing else would happen because then like Hana would be like, I'm gonna go play Smash now.
Well, not just that, but I also think that like Hana said like at least once that she was like, I don't really like their ideas, and I'm like, okay, why are you like making a comic with them if you don't like their ideas? And it felt like she was trying to say that she was just like recruiting people to like help her with what she wanted to make. I'm like, that's not really what you pitched that as. Like you said, let's all do this together as like a group thing. I was like, I don't know. I'm not even drawing here. What do I know?
How far did wait? So Hana just wanted like writers for her own stuff.
She just wanted like assistance.
Yeah, she was like, I want you to help me with a comic.
It's yours.
You don't like my art, Jason? Is that what you're trying to tell me?
I encouraged you.
Or you're encouraging me?
I gave you the material.
And I gave you God's work, okay? God. You're asking too much out of a normal human being. Y'all don't need to see that shit. There's a lid point. No, they don't. No, they don't.
My hand. My mind. Merely a tool for higher thoughts.
This body is a vessel that creates furry art.
You know, did Ozzy ever talk to you about him wanting to make music?
I think I asked him about it vaguely because he had
He
all a
brought
bunch
all of
of
his equipment. To
yeah,
the-
he had a bunch of equipment, and I was like, "You have like a fancy looking mic and stuff. Like, are you ever gonna use any of it?" And he's like, "Nah." And then, well, again, I think
Thought process was there.
it was like, it seemed weird because like, firstly, he fell into like the trap of every new hobby of like, let me just spend a bunch of money into this because I'm like really excited about getting started and I feel like I need all this extra shit. So like, let me just dump a bunch of money into it. And then like, he was like, well, I want to learn some music, but then he's like, Hana, teach me. And I think that's like where things really went downhill because like Hana was not able to teach him, and then he just got like discouraged and was like, I give up, whatever.
Because I remember I talked to him about it once, and he was just like, "Yeah, I want Hana to write the song and some other shit." And he's like, "I'll just perform it."
Oh.
Well, like it seemed like at first he. Again, it's also because like Hana goes into these things like with a self interest and then doesn't communicate that she's kind of like doing this for like low key a selfish reason. So she'll be like, I like asked her to teach me some things in music, and she was just trying to teach me the things that she wanted to teach me because she was like dead set on me learning drums because she's like, I need a drummer if I want to make music, and I'm like, I don't want to learn drums.
I said, "Didn't
That sounds fun to me. Like drums sounds like fun, even though it's like a lot of joint issues in the future.
well, okay." Other than piano, what else did you want to learn?
Guitar.
Okay.
Or bass, but like at the time she didn't have a bass or claimed she didn't know, which I guess she didn't, but it's also like seems like one of those skills. After talking to her about it now, it seems like one of those skills where it's like if you know how to rollerblade, you probably know how to ice skate, you know?
Okay.
It's like not one to one, but it's like if you learn how to play a like a pipe organ, learning a piano isn't that hard.
I'll say everybody that I knew that played bass was just like learn how to play guitar. It's basically the same thing.
Well, and it
They're
seems
like-
easier because it's got 2 less strings.
Well, that's what they say. They're like, it's basically just an easier guitar. So let's learn how to play guitar, and then bass just has come natural.
Do you think it's it's easy to lose it, like the feeling to play music?
I never learned, so probably, but
Because I'm
I'm just
not gonna
guessing.
lie. When I bought the DJ board, I was like, "Oh, I got this," and then I did it, and I was like, "Oh my god, I don't got this," and
Dude.
then I'm gonna
I was
lose.
actually asking Caesar a couple days ago. I was like, what happened to Jason's DJ board?
I have it. I let my friend borrow it. He gave it back, and I lost it. It's somewhere in my room. I know it's somewhere in there. I just don't know where it is.
Yeah, I just told Marissa, I was like, yeah, his friends did, but never gave it back.
No, no. It's because like I needed my computer stuff back to do my resume and apply for jobs. But then, like, and I was like, well, I'll give it back too. And then I have it. I just never went through with it. And then I was learning like, okay, there's definitely more stuff that goes into it instead of mixing music. Because not gonna lie, it is a very you have to commit to this shit. And I feel like you gotta learn this shit young. No, you don't. But that's how I
it would
feel.
definitely help a lot, I imagine.
yeah.
Like same thing with anything, right? Like it's way easier to learn a language if you just like are forced to when you're in 4th grade or whatever, as opposed to
Yeah.
like an adult.
Yeah, and I think it's just like, oh my god, there's so many chords. You gotta learn melody. You gotta learn progression. You gotta learn what else? Rhythm. I feel like there's some stuff the human body will like. Okay, we got this.
Well, I think some of it comes intuitively, right? But I think like my problem is that like I've always asked people to teach me and it's either people who like have taught themselves or like don't believe in like following music theory and like to each their own, right? But like I want to learn music theory cuz like in my head it makes more sense to learn the rules of what makes music sound good and then if you want to break the rules after you learn them, then you can and not everything has to be like in this specific rhythm. Not everything has to be like 4/4 or whatever. But like I feel like you kind of in my opinion, I should learn those things first before I decide I want to break the rules. You know, like there rules for a reason and there's a reason that like music sounded good and like things are the way they are, you know? Like I'm not the first person to try music and obviously like sheet music, I don't understand it, but like clearly that's the best way to annotate music because like what am I going to do? Like make my own system of like how to read music? It's like I don't like the Dewey Decimal System, but there's a reason that it got set up as like the primary library system for everywhere.
That is true.
Was there, wasn't there like one person that actually knew theory that like you asked about it, which is like racism?
Yeah, yeah. I had a friend Lee who I was like, why don't you teach me? And then he was like, well, because like that's stupid and like like music theory was basically made by like a bunch of old racist white people that were making classical music and it doesn't have like a place in today's music. And I'm like, I don't know if I agree with that, but like I just want to learn the music part. Like you know, I don't have to I don't have to learn music theory and be like, you know, I think I might be a little racist because Beethoven was.
Oh.
I'm just giving an example. I don't know if he's
No,
racist
yeah,
or not,
yeah.
but
No,
like, you know what I mean?
Yeah, I get exactly what you mean. It no, and
But we had disagreements about like the separation of like music and the artist.
we've had that quite a lot.
Well, yeah, I mean, I feel like that's an argument that always comes up every couple years whenever like an artist does some dumb shit or some heinous shit. I guess.
You know, I don't know if this is on topic or off topic, but that's how I kind of felt today when I listened to. Oh my god, this is gonna be so embarrassing. But I was listening to Dave Blunt's new album.
I thought you were gonna say Drake.
No,
Wait, I don't know what has he done lately. Like what?
he made a whole new album. And I think it's called "I'll See You When I Believe It," and he has a song named "V Bucks." And not gonna lie, the lyrics are crazy, but not gonna lie, like homie was attached to it, and it's just like once you take the person out of the music, not that bad, not that bad.
What did he do though? Like what?
I think
What's this controversy that he was a part of? You were just like, it's this song, V Bucks.
I think it's just because he's known like as an online personality more than like an actual rapper. Like the idea of Dave Blunt is like more popular than his actual music. Like people are like, oh, remember that one song where he said the N word like 3 times and he's like I'm fat as fuck and shit like in this one song or like he's because like people know him from like meme music. So I think he's making the argument that like most people probably wouldn't take it serious the second they see Dave Blunt's, but he thinks that it might be there's more to it than like just meme music this time around.
yeah,
I
like
think
no, yeah, no, yeah. Actually, you're on the ballpark about that. Yeah, because it was just like there's a lot of I think nowadays like your friend kind of made that good argument. It's like that old music won't comprehend like how it's going into today's music, but once you take the meme out, it's not that bad. It's not like it's more of like wow, like the artist, yeah, he's fucking around, but you can kind of see where he's serious, and you're kind of like wow, like I kind of fuck with like I want to separate the artist, but I feel like that's what amplifies the song into like wow, like this dude took it serious. And then it's like I think that's what gets people hooked onto music even more.
I mean, I think you can look at any music through multiple lens and find things you do and don't like about it, but like I don't know. It's kind of weird because you're saying that you want to look at it objectively, but it sounds like you're also saying like the fact that he makes meme music adds to the fact.
Yeah, I don't know. It's still like he's a good attention grabber for being meme music, and it's just like damn, bro. Like I know a lot of the times you're just doing this as a meme, but I kind of actually fuck with the music. And then I'm just trying to separate the artist because I'm like, damn, bro, I'm kind of fucking with this, but you saying those words kind of fucks with me too hard. Like I don't know. I'm trying to like separate the man versus the music, but like I don't know. I really don't know how to explain it. I was listening like I was literally driving to meet up with my dad, and I was just like, oh, I forgot about this album that just came out, and I'm like listening to it, and I'm like, ooh, man, I actually fuck with this kind of music. This is actually pretty good. This is actually, but I just there's sometimes the lyrics I'm like, I can't take this dude serious.
Yeah.
But
Wait, as look at what's the point of doing that with him? Like, I get if you want to be like, maybe I just like this because it's him, but like outside of that, like, what's the point of doing that with him at all? Because like,
Well, he wants to eat his cake and have it too. He wants to say that objectively it's good music. And if you don't look at who the artist is, you would probably like it. But he also wants to say that because he makes meme music, it's even better. So like, if you look at it objectively, it's really good music. But if you don't look at it objectively and judge the artist on it as well, it's even better.
hmm.
I guess that is true. I mean, I did have the cake, and that was it was pretty good. And it's just like,
I'm like, every time I hear that saying, the have your cake and eat it too or whatever, I feel stupid because I'm like, that's one of the ways that they caught like some terrorist dude. Fuck, I forget what his name was. Pretty famous terrorist
Luigi?
or no, he was like a domestic terrorist or something, or cult leader or something, or mass murderer. I forgot what he did, but like one of the ways that they caught him is that they were able to like dissect the letters that he wrote because he wrote them by hand. So not only did his like handwriting match up, but like his sayings and idioms also matched up, and they were able to use that as like evidence in court. And one of the things that they used is that this guy was obsessed with saying that saying correctly because most people say it incorrectly. Most people say have your cake and eat it too, which doesn't make sense. The saying is I want to eat my cake and have it too. Like you want to eat something and still have it. Obviously, you have to get something first before you eat it. So the other way around, it doesn't make sense, right? Because you're saying like you want to have it both ways.
yeah,
And one way, and the way that people use the saying usually doesn't actually like coincide with what the saying is trying to convey. But he was obsessed with always using it correctly. And they were able to argue that this has to be the same person because like look how he uses the same thing that everyone else uses wrong, but he's using in the right context. And so that they were able to like pin certain like anonymous letters to him because he used that saying like I want to eat my cake and have it too instead of the other way around.
Is that BTK?
So be a sheep.
Huh?
BTK?
What's that?
Serial killer?
Maybe I don't remember who it was.
It sounds like some shit that he would do because he was like
It was like he was writing letters to his brother or something, and they were able to like figure out that who it was coming from or who it was and be like this was him obviously because we have these older letters that he wrote that he did sign and then matches up with his handwriting and the way he writes and speaks. But I think about that every time I hear that saying and I'm like now I feel weird saying it the right way, but then I know I'm saying it wrong every time I say it the other way. But I'm like, I don't know.
The proper term is eat my cake and have it too.
But most people say have my cake and eat it too.
Ah, okay.
Obviously, you have to have cake to be able to eat it. But if you already ate your cake, you can't still have it.
Yeah.
The cake is actually alive.
why?
So yeah, I'm like, if I say it right, people are gonna think I'm a serial killer or something, psychopath.
I mean, to be fair, I think if I remember right, if it is BTK, he had like some sort of like pseudo like in was pseudo intellectualism going on, or he's like thought he was like the smartest person ever, for whatever reason.
I'm fucking people away.
But like as long as you don't consistently like correct people on it, I don't think they'll think much.
I wonder if people even notice it, like if you don't know that it's supposed to be the other way around, would you even notice that someone said it the other way?
No, I wouldn't.
No, I think it's one of those things where it's like,
Like, did you notice when I said it that it wasn't the same way that you said it?
No, yeah.
You did or you didn't?
Like I would have not noticed, but when you just like explained that, I was like, oh, okay, like the confusion's still there. But like the confusion, like where other people will like interpret it wrong.
But like you said the thing first, right? You said I want to have my cake and eat it too, and then
Yeah.
I said it again. And did I say the saying first or did you?
said the same first,
I said it first. But then did you also say it?
but I interpret it as have or like have it and then eat it, because you said it and then you corrected.
But you didn't register to you that it was different.
It sounded the same, but really like it wasn't.
I think it's one of those things where it's like people get what you're going to say or like what the meaning behind it. So they're just like, even if you say it slightly different, they're like, I get what he means.
Well, that's what I mean though. Like, does it
like-
still register though? Because like for me, if someone says the word library, it registers in my head and I hear it, but I'm not gonna correct people and be like, it's library or it's ask, not ax.
I feel like it's different between like a phrase and a word. Because if it's a word, I feel like it bothers me more than like a phrase.
Hmm.
Because if it's a phrase, I feel like I was like ignore part of it and just be like, this is what you meant. Versus like, if it's just like one word, I would be like focusing like, why do you say it like that? Like,
Well, like I hear a lot of people say things like in the wrong order. Like instead of saying like the cream of the crop, people would be like the crop of the cream or whatever. And like I know what they mean, but I don't. It registers in my head that they're saying it wrong, but I don't correct people because that's obnoxious.
yeah,
Do you think it's also because like when you say just a word, you can easily catch it, but when it's like a whole phrase, it's like, well, I don't want to be that asshole, but I think like that's kind of like the fast communication. You're like, well, I know what they meant, but I'm not gonna like fucking say shit.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I think if I understand what they're saying, I just don't question it because I already got the message that they were trying to convey.
Yeah,
But it still registers in my head that I'm like, that sounded wrong.
but also I think people are just lazy, because like it's just like, well, it's like when you're trying to talk to somebody and like, and
Well,
they're
some
just
people
saying it
know
in, like,
talk
a
good.
foreign language, huh?
Some people know talk good. Just I mean, it is what it is. You know, some people are better at getting their ideas out into the air with words, and some people are not.
Like who?
Like I don't know.
you, me.
I was about to say us.
Yeah, dude, I'm fucking terrible with my words. And you, I mean, I think it's you rage baiting most of the time on accident.
Like if you do you ever
accident, but-
find yourself explaining something to someone and often they don't quite understand what you meant, like they might get the general idea or the gist, but you feel like they're kind of missing something.
Kind of. I have this thing where it's more of like, I can short, like I can explain something, but I go 1, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, but I forget it can be a 1, 2, 3. I miss 2. That's how I see myself a lot of the times. But
Okay.
like that's where a lot of people like to catch me. That like I can explain things shorter, but I know they know that like they're getting what I mean, and they're like afterwards they're like, "Yo, bro, you could have just said that in like one sentence instead of a paragraph." And it's like, well, now you know indefinitely what I mean. Like
Oh.
you get what I'm throwing?
Kind of. It sounds like
Like for example,
so.
like last night, my coworker was asking me for a drink recipe, but in reality, he just wanted, like, for example, for the example for that example was like, it was 2 and 1, but how I said it was 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. It was like, okay, you're gonna do this, 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 and this. He's like, you could have just said this and this. Like, it was just like, oh, like, a Long Island, a Long Island. It's like I could have said like, all I said was tequila, rum, vodka, gin, when I could have just said all liquors. And they're like, well, I get what you're trying to tell me, and I appreciate you giving me the detail, but you really could have just shortened that down. And then it's like, well, I gave you the whole thing, didn't I? And he's like, yeah, but you didn't have to. And
I think it's kind of like I had this conversation with George once. It's the difference between communicating and thinking out loud. Like I don't think you're communicating. I think you're just thinking out loud. And it's the same reason that when people describe movies to you, it sounds boring as fuck and you don't really care when people recommend movies to you because it just doesn't sound interesting. Because what people do is they think out loud. So they recall the memory of the movie and they repeat everything that was memorable to them and they repeat it to you. But not everything that was memorable is important. Like it doesn't certain like people will go into it and they start describing a certain scene and like this happens and this happens and they're not telling you that it's really memorable because it was like super cool or something. They're just telling you every little detail of a scene and you're just like okay, but like what's the premise of this movie? Like you didn't tell me anything. That like this feels like a rage bait trailer. You know? Like and it's because they're not giving you like a synopsis of what happens or like the premise of a movie or something. They're telling you what they remember. And I think that's what a lot of people do when they like think out loud. Like he asked you for the recipe and you told him everything that was relevant to you when you thought about that recipe. Like, oh, it has lime, but like make sure you're grabbing this lime wedge because like sometimes if you get too fat of one, they'll send it back because it tastes like lime or something. Like they don't care about that. They just like lime wedge. That's what you garnish it with or whatever the fuck.
Yeah.
So like you recall a memory and you kind of like info dump everything that you recall when you think recipe for this, like recipe for Long Island. You kind of info dump everything that you think of or that comes to mind when you start speaking, and it's not the same as communicating because when you're just speaking your mind, people aren't in your mind and aren't following your train of thoughts. And there's a lot of things in your day to day that seem like a given to you because you already know that. You've made this drink 1,000 times. So you, let's say if someone asks you for a recipe, you don't bother telling them that simple syrup is half and half water and sugar because every bartender knows what simple syrup is. But like someone who doesn't know how to do that, they wouldn't think of that. So you blow past it because it's not something that's relevant in your mind anymore.
Yeah.
So you skip details that might be important and give other details that might not be relevant because it's what comes to mind.
Mm.
Whereas communicating is picking specific words to convey a message. Like when you're speaking, you're basically just narrating, but communicating is trying to convey an idea to someone else.
That kind of fucked me up. Actually, I never thought of it like that.
Does that make sense though?
No, yeah, yeah. That kind of makes me want to cry. You know, when like I don't know, like for example, couples they're like communicate. I never would have thought of that like as communication. I thought this would be like communicating, but it's like the details to it. It's like oh shit. Okay.
Well, it's
Well,
kind of like I think it's just like intent and purpose, right? Like you're picking your words for a specific purpose. You want them to convey an idea, and your words can only do so much because there's always idea. Like, I guess to take it a step back, when I think, I don't think in words. I don't usually have like an internal dialogue. So I have to get my ideas. Like, I think in like a bubble or a cloud, like a thought bubble, an idea. It doesn't have to be a word, it doesn't have to be a picture, but it could be like, I think in thoughts, if that makes sense. So when you have to convey an idea, like getting someone to picture what you're picturing in your head, you have to pick specific words so that they can, so you can try to relay the message. And then they interpret your words. So you're trying to guess how they're going to interpret your words.
yeah.
So it's like there's the meaning you have, the literal meaning your words have, and then their interpretation of your words.
So it's kind of like thinking before you say, but also it's like, all right, well, how can I make simplify this for you? Because I don't know how you're gonna feel when I say this shit.
Yeah, as opposed to like speaking out loud where it's like you're literally just thinking in the fastest way possible that makes sense to you. Because like you don't need to bring up every little detail about stuff if it's not relevant. Like I said, you know like how to zest an orange so you don't got to worry, like you don't have to think about like this specific step when you like if you're telling someone instructions, you don't think like you tell them make a PB and J, you tell them put the peanut butter on the bread, but you don't think like you have to tell them open the jar, put the knife in there, because it's not relevant. Like obviously everyone would know that and that's obvious to you, but certain things like that get lost in translation when you're talking about maybe something that you know about that they don't know about. Everybody knows how to spread peanut butter on a piece of bread, but maybe not everyone knows how to make cocktails.
Yeah.
So you skip obvious details that seem obvious to you, but wouldn't seem obvious to someone else. It's like when you're watching a fucking YouTube video and you're like, man, how do I do this? And it's like someone working on their car and they're like, okay, yeah, you just like unscrew this. And then it skips like what looks like an hour. And they're like, perfect. And now I have this entire thing off. And you're like, what? Where did you, what happened? What happened to the rest of it? Like you're missing the part where I'm stuck on.
Oh, damn time.
This is fucking me up. Oh my god. Oh,
Mind freak.
I salute you, sir.
Why? It's a handshake, not a salute, but I'll
I salute you in every good way possible. That I don't know. That kind of like fucked me up. I guess it's just like another like better way to explain things and also like how to communicate. I don't know. I guess I just skip the details and I just skip a lot of things. I guess I'm like how you and George were like talking about like thinking out loud and then conversating. I'm like, I guess I talk too much out loud.
Well, I mean, if I'm not telling you it's a problem.
No,
If
no,
you
yeah.
see it as a problem, then there is like solutions for it. Like same thing with George, but like he asked me about this because he was like, I always say the wrong thing and then I have to apologize. And I'm like, well, just think about what you're gonna say first, and then you don't have to say it if you think it's gonna like make people upset or something. You know what I mean? And so that's how we got on like the track of this conversation of like he would be like, how do you not say the wrong thing at the wrong time? And I'm like, well, say it to yourself in your head first. And sometimes like just hearing yourself say it in your head, you're like, ooh, maybe I shouldn't say that actually.
I think it's just more of like, yeah, no, because wow, me and George can share. I don't. I think it's bad, but it's not terrible. I think it's okay. I get why people say think before you say, because that shit will bite you in your ass.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, I don't think it's inherently a bad thing, but I think if that form of thinking that is comfortable to you leads to you miscommunicating more often than not, I think it might cause trouble for you
Yeah.
in the long run.
And I think I don't know. We're like in a state of like everyone wants a fast response, and everyone wants things done fast.
Well, and it's truth be told, it's just like frustrating when you try to explain an idea to someone and they just seem at a complete loss. So it's frustrating when it feels like you're putting all these words in the air and they're just like falling on deaf ears. Like that no one they hear your words but they don't understand what you're trying to convey.
Yeah. Ooh. Fuck.
what? What happened? What are you thinking right now?
It just feels like you're opening your eyes and your ears for the first time. That's how I'm interpreting this. Like, I'm not. I'm trying. Like, you've done so much that I feel like a therapist would have to do in like years. I don't know. You are very good at explaining how it's supposed to work. Like you're great. You know how people are just like normal, like think before you say. You actually mean like think before you say.
Yeah.
Like you can conversate that. It's just like, oh man, I'm so used to
It's
get my drift.
like I meant, man, or like I said earlier, it's just incredibly frustrating to not have people understand what you mean, and like after a certain point, it feels like it's not even their fault. You can't be upset with people that they don't understand you because it's you trying to convey an idea. Like if they don't get it, to a certain extent, if nobody understands what you mean, it's kind of like a you thing.
No,
right?
I get that.
And
Yeah,
I'm just
yeah,
like
oh.
mad. I get mad frustrated with that idea of not being able to convey what I'm thinking. And I'm like, okay, well, I have to be able to articulate because that's the only way I can communicate with other people is to use my words. So I have to filter my words into thoughts and like filter my thoughts into words to get them out. And like more words, more better. You know, like I don't know, like I felt like the more words I learned, the better I could communicate.
See, and then that's how I interpret that is like when there's moments where it has to happen, and there's moments where people don't see that happening. Like I can communicate when I'm in an area of stress or where I'm like I don't want this to go any further. Like if I'm in a fight, like like a talking fight, it's like well I have to like articulate my words so it doesn't go further. But then I know if I choose the right words, I could rage bait it by accident. It's just like okay, like how can I get myself out of this predicament? Because if I do this how I normally talk, I will get more in trouble. But it's also okay, like this is already like going out of like hand. I need to cut this to calm down. This is like a stressful area. This is like everyone wants to talk fast. Everyone's not even thinking right. I feel like that's my area where I have to think right. When I'm in a calm state, I can't think right. I can just blab, just say random words out here. But in a stressful situation, I know like I have to pick my words right. I can't
Gotta
just be
lock in.
yeah, I have to lock in because if I don't, people could like get their feelings hurt, can get physically hurt, can get emotionally hurt. It's just like, but I don't get that until I'm in a stressful situation.
It's just
Like this is a very peaceful situation, what you're telling me, and it's fucking me up.
well, it's just like being able to articulate your words. I feel like at the end of the day is just trying to like convey an idea to another person, but have that idea match up with what you actually mean. Like, you know, if I there's there's literal meanings to words, right? But there's also like phrases and words that have kind of like a vibe to them. Like you can say someone is dirty or you can call them a pig. And it's like they both convey the same idea, but one definitely has like a different vibe than the other. And
Yeah.
certain words, even though they might mean the same thing, kind of give off different vibes to different people.
No,
So
yeah,
like
it's like a lot of things can have different emphasis on it. It's just like
so it's just like, you know, when you convey ideas and they get misinterpreted and people get their feelings hurt, it's not because you want to hurt their feelings. So it's not like your words did not convey the message that you were trying to give. So it's like I want my intentions to line up with their interpretations of my words as much as I can.
yeah,
So like if I'm trying to say something that I don't necessarily want to say, but I think they should hear it, I'm going to try to convey words that are also going to say things like that are like, hey, I don't want to say this as much as you don't want to hear it, but, you know, whatever.
yeah. Because I feel like there's like different people for different kind of like ways how you communicate and everything, how you talk. And it's just like okay, I feel comfortable with like let's say for example you guys because I can say outlandish stuff in a fast manner and don't have to communicate as hard. But there's like a proper way to do this, and it's just like okay, like
Well, and
I
it's
feel
like
comfortable.
there's for sure a level of like comfortability with it, right? Like everyone has their things that they're better or worse at communicating, and the more time you spend with someone, the better you get at kind of like guessing those gestures and kind of guessing like what they meant when they said that, you know, because you kind of have more experience behind it. But like you said, when you're talking to strangers, there's not that level of comfortableness or like that second layer where they're interpreting like how they know you based on that. Like if Cesar says something outlandish, I know Cesar's probably joking because I know Cesar. But if he says some outlandish shit in front of a stranger, they're gonna be like, this dude kind of says some crazy shit, you know?
Yeah,
But like they don't have the context that I do of like this is once in a blue moon that Cesar says something crazy. So it's funny, it has shock value, but it's I know not to take him serious that he's not whatever, you know, like whatever crazy thing he says.
yeah. And I think it's just one of those things like how to like when you're like meeting someone or you're trying to like you have a quick conversation. It's like reading a room, but like trying to use context clues as well. And it's just like okay, like with for you guys, I know I can do this, this, that, but I know there's gonna be like a certain setting, a certain moment where I'll get the context clues of okay, I have to treat this better and serious. But it's like how I want to treat this better with everybody because I feel like I'm really good at like talking to people, but I'm also really good at skipping the details or not using the right words slash like communicating as well as I'm just very much as like, hey, dude, I'm gonna give you the clues to what I'm saying. I need you to figure them out in order, like no one's gonna understand shit, fall man. No,
Well, it's
no one's
like-
gonna understand that.
I
But
think
it's also
I
like,
think like an easy way to describe it is that like you're basically speaking to them in notes. Like when you take notes in school, like you know that there was like some people like the girls with really pretty handwriting that were in like in student council, and when they took notes it was like word for word everything the teacher says with highlighted shit, and like it's in ALA format, and it's like in you know what I mean? They take notes like that, and then there's other people.
Holocaust on top.
There's some people who take notes and it's literally just spark notes. Like they write like shorthand things that no one but them would understand, but it doesn't matter because it's just notes for them. When you speak your mind, it's like you're just speaking in notes like that, and
Yeah.
they kind of have to fill in the gaps, and they don't have the same knowledge base or experience that you have from living your life to fill in those same gaps the same way you would. And even if they did live the same life, people who grow up in the exact same situation with same parents and same everything often have different outlooks on the same thing.
yeah.
And like, communication isn't just a verbal thing. That's partially why I speak with my hands all the time, and it makes sense when I'm like, to me it makes sense to speak with my hands because it's more expressive and it gives more like context to what I'm saying, kind of.
Yeah.
As opposed to like when you read someone's facial expression, it also helps to know, oh, this person's angry, or like they're kind of upset about this, or like, they're laughing about it. I can keep going with this or something. The less layers you have to it, the more important it is to pick out your words. Like over text, I think it's a lot more important to pick out your words because I can't communicate the same way I can in person. So my words matter even more over text when there's less layers of communication by facial expressions and hand motions and shit.
Yeah.
That's actually a core part of ALS is a lot of the hand language also has to do with like facial expression.
Yeah.
I learned in ASL that closed hand with your thumb in is the letter B, and if you put that to your chin, that's bitch.
Bitch, bitch, bitch. Love that shit.
Horse shit or like cow shit.
That's bullshit, dude.
Bullshit. Thank you.
Shut up.
See, you know what I meant.
We've seen the Creed movie, Jason.
God damn it!
He did like the bullshit, and I was like something from like in the Creed movie. That's one of the examples they use for ESL.
English as a second language?
Sorry, whatever.
ASL?
ESL, whatever the shit's called.
This is toilet bathroom, I think.
I think your fingers over your thumb like that is the letter N.
No, this is N. This is M.
This is M?
Yeah.
Two fingers?
Two fingers and then the thumb poking out. That's
Oh.
M. And then this is N. And then this is A, I think.
A is this.
Ah.
A is this.
So I have one person that actually knows it to correct us in the
Yeah.
comments.
Someone in the comments. You guys were saying slurs in sign language?
This one was our most controversial episode yet.
I just saw this video about this guy talking about like the origins of the shaka, like the
Shaka bra.
yeah, and it's like it was from this dude who worked on like a sugarcane mill in Hawaii, and he lost these three fingers. So he literally only had a hand like this. And after that happened, they were like, "You're not working on the production line anymore. Like you can be the security guard because we have a problem with a bunch of like delinquents and shit jumping onto like the trains and stealing product and just joyriding on fucking trains." And so like they'd be like, if the coast is clear, just like give him a wave. And this guy's like, I'm gonna be funny and wave with my hand with that only has two fingers. And so like he would put his hand out like this to like signify like it's clear or it's good. And people started like picking it up. But he was also like a fisherman, and he was part of like this big group of like people who did like, I forget what it's called, but it's like a certain type of like net fishing that they originally did in Hawaii, like the indigenous people. And he would also have to wave and shit, and when he would wave he would do like that, so people started like catching on to it and shit. And then when like all the surfers from Australia and California started showing up to Hawaii, they also took it, and then they added like the shake part. And then like years later, there was like a car salesman who was like trying to do like a TV commercial or whatever, and he did it. And when he said it, he said Shaka something, and people were like, "Oh, Shaka, like that's cool," and that's how he got the name, I guess.
Hmm.
But yeah, it was a dude who literally didn't have those fingers, who was just waving like this. I was like, that's
I
crazy.
think that's from 51st Dates too, because he lost his like like 3 fingers.
Oh, really?
Yeah, what's his name?
It's like the cook.
Rob Schneider. Rob Schneider only has 3 fingers, so that's a. It's either that or 51st Date, or it's
At least he can still go bowling. If he got 3 fingers.
Is bowling a good first date?
Ooh, no. I would say no.
Yeah, I don't think it's terrible if your date likes it.
Yeah,
I
it's
think
not.
it's a good date, but I think it could be a very aggressive date.
I think it's just too many unknowns. Like, for a first date, I would say no. Firstly, what if they think it's boring? And if they don't think it's boring, what if they're really competitive?
That's
Because
what
I'm
saying,
competitive,
Yeah.
and like, I'm not gonna be like gloating about it, but I am gonna want to win by a small margin,
Yeah.
at least.
Like I'm not gonna lie, I'm competitive, not all the time, but when I know I'm good at something, I'm like, well, I know I can kick butt, so I am gonna be like have an ego with it. So I am gonna be competitive with
Not
this.
gonna lie, what if she brings out the bumpers and the Scooby thing for the bowling ball?
Well, then it's like I think it.
I'm a professional bowler.
I think it's like a, like how serious are you taking it? Like if they take that out, I'm not gonna take it serious. I'm gonna throw as hard as I can to see if I can make the ball hit the back of the fucking thing. But like, I don't know. I think it's like how serious are you taking it?
Because I think it's a good date idea. I don't know if it's a good first date idea, but also it's just that I think you can also know somebody just by bowling. Like, cause it's just like, think about it. You get to see how competitive they are. You get to see like how they communicate. You get to see how like, cause if they're like, oh cool, like it's nothing to them, they're gonna have a fun time still. What if they're like, this is boring? You just like maybe they don't as like talk as much, and you're like, well, fuck, this was a bad idea. Or you're winning, and then they get mad because you're winning, or you get mad because you're losing.
I mean, can you just say that about any of those like
I think
dates?
I think you can
sports
make
things?
interpretations like that about anything. Like I was saying something similar to, I don't know, remember who. I think one of my coworkers, but I was like, I feel like you can tell a lot about someone's home situation, like how they were raised, based on if you tell them to go pour themselves a cup of milk, like
Huh.
how much milk are they going to put is like the first thing and the most important thing, right?
Oh.
I grew up in a household with like 6 people, so I never poured a full cup. Like that's seems blasphemous in my mind. But even then, some of my siblings did that, but like I never did it because I was a middle child. I was a younger child. My oldest brother was always kind of like a little greedy and a little selfish in that way, not intentionally and not like out of malice, but he just kind of thinks of himself first.
Yeah.
Um and not like in a bad way. It's not like he doesn't have compassion or can't be empathetic, but like he just thinks I want a cup of milk, so I'm gonna go pour myself like a big cup of milk. Or like if you get the juice in the cartons, right? It's like that stuff goes so fast. It goes so fast, and you want to pour yourself a big ass cup because it's so good, and you're like, man, it's gonna be delicious. But I never pour myself a full cup because I feel guilty. It feels like shitty to pour myself a full cup because I'm like, that's like a quarter of the fucking carton. And like, that's just me from one sitting. Like, I feel guilty about taking that much juice from something that's supposed to be communal.
So how would you feel? And just by that statement, like how you said, like okay, maybe like you yourself, you fill up a quarter or half. There's some people that drink a full. What would you do if someone drank out of it?
That would make me think that they are most likely the eldest child, like the youngest, but like young by a lot, as in like they didn't grow up with other siblings,
Yeah.
like at least 6 years apart, or that they're an only child.
Ah. Do you do that?
What, drinking out of the carton?
Yeah.
Not normally.
Because when you grow up with
Sometimes.
people around your age, you kind of have to learn to coexist with them, whether you
Yeah.
like it or not, and you're more likely to have actual amicable relationships with these people whether you want to or not. Like I have to coexist with my sister and my brother whether I want to or not because they're just part of my life, and I know if I do something that's going to piss them off, it's going to be one thing. But when it comes to my mom or my dad or something, like when it comes to your parents, it's a lot easier to ask for forgiveness than it is permission. So you're more likely to do shit that you wouldn't with your sibling because they're actually going to get upset and make a big deal about it.
Hmm.
But if you don't grow up with siblings, then you're more likely to act differently. You're more likely to act like an only child, where it's like, yeah, I mean, I want this thing, so I'm gonna have it, and I'm gonna justify it by like, you know, I don't know, not justify it, but it's just kind of like a different train of thought.
Yeah. How much would you pour out?
Depends on liquid.
Milk.
I'll do like a teacup or like half a cup or half like a like glass.
Okay.
You're asking the dude that doesn't like milk.
That's why I said juice also, because
Well,
a lot more. I know a lot of people are like, I don't like milk or I don't drink whole milk.
Well, that's why I said it depends on the liquid, because if it's like a juice or like a lemonade I really want, I'll do a whole cup or like 75% of the cup normally.
Let's say
But if it's like milk, I always do less.
let's say there's like a pitcher of something like juice or something like that in the fridge, and it's about 60% is left. What sized cup do you pour and how much?
I'll probably just do like half a tall glass, you know, or like one of those like.
Oh, like a 22 ounce. So you do like 12, like 11 ounces. Okay.
No, I don't know. I don't know about the measurements of them, but like you know those like tall glasses, you know, like I feel like everybody grew up with them. Like just
Yeah.
half of that.
I would do like a quarter. Like especially if it's like a juice I want, like maybe get to like 35% of my cup to treat myself. But like I can never go like a full cup unless I bought it. Then it's just like, all right, well, like I bought it. Like this is communal, but I am gonna do what I want to do.
Well, see, I think that's the difference, right? Like if someone answers like that kind of gives me the idea that either now, either currently or previously in life, they thought a lot about what their position in their family is and how their actions affect their other family members.
Mm.
Uh,
Wow.
I'll say my thinking behind like the juice shit, like it was never about my sister. It was always like I know my parents want some, so I'll save them.
Yeah, I mean, it's like, like I said, the sibling thing is one thing, but it's like you take into account the fact that your actions are going to affect other people in your house, as opposed to just kind of being more straightforward with your thinking of like, I want this thing, I'm going to have this thing, and it shouldn't be a problem because it's for everyone, and I'm part of everyone.
You, Marissa?
Me? Honestly, it depends on the activity that we're doing. If we're just sitting and chatting, I'll just have like just enough to parch my thirst.
Well, okay. Now let me ask you, how much would you have of the same liquid if you lived by yourself and you bought it?
I have half glass. 'Cause I like you said, I kind of spoil my stuff and I save some stuff for myself for later.
We'll see, right? You definitely save your stuff for later, but you are still having like twice as much as you would have if we were having a communal thing, right?
Yeah.
I'll say that was funny though when you were like drinking straight from like the tap or like the jug. And you're like either somebody's only child and they grew up like sniffly away from like their sibling, because you know that fits somebody.
It's just
Ow!
it seems like growing up.
Dare you?
Tell me now. You really gave me another look when you said that.
That's why I was like, it was the look, not the.
No,
Yeah, tell him.
that looked like a guilty look to me. It's just like, oh fuck, got me.
That was a shut the fuck up Cesar look and not a clock it.
Now we're gonna go home and she's gonna kick my butt.
But I do it to my milk. I buy my milk, and I buy whole milk, because fuck that 2%, fuck that 1%, fuck you if you drink skim milk. You might as well just be drinking fucking soy products, soy boy. Whole milk is when I tab. Feels like home. Feels like home. Because honestly, that's funny y'all bring that up because it's also like some kind of normalcy to me because like in my household we used to have like 6 jugs of milk in the fridge because my dad would drink it straight from the jug. He would drink an entire jug to himself in like one day. And that's where I picked it up from was like watching him go up to the fridge.
So everyone had their own jug, kind of.
Not really, no. It's just it's in there.
Your dad
Drink
drank
it.
milk like that?
Yeah, like that.
Damn, that must be nice.
It was when like milk was like $1 and some change gallon. Oh.
I was about to say, like, I don't know if I ever have the balls to do that. Even if I buy my own milk, I can't, like, per se, like, grab the. Because I'm not gonna. I love milk. But, like, I'm like, I just think too much of, like, what would my peers, if they want milk? Like, what, like, if I have my own
I
place.
just open the other jug in there.
Like, I want, if, like, Luis just pops up, like, on my place, I'm like, okay, like, now I'm ready for, like, if Luis, like, wants a cup of milk. Like, I'm ready mentally and physically. Like I want everyone to still have some of like the things I got.
That's what I mean though. Like I don't know if it's like something that you grow up with and it just gets ingrained in you or what, but people seem to be like on a gradient of like how courteous they are in their day-to-day actions when it comes to certain things. Like my oldest brother, he is not a very courteous person. And it's not by intention and not because he likes being rude or likes doing things. It's just that like when he says things, he is not necessarily speaking just what he's thinking, but he says things in a way where it feels like I don't want to have a conversation between me and you. I want you to understand what I'm saying. And
Yeah.
that's what a conversation is to me. And it's like I don't think that's inherently like I don't think he does it out of malice or he's like a bad person for doing things like that, but there's some people who just like are inherently more selfish. And I think part of it in my mind is like you kind of have to balance it. It's being selfish is kind of like lying. Like you have the option to do it at any given point, but the more you do it, the more people are less likely to want to interact with you and like you. But the less you do it, the less you're kind of getting out of life, the more opportunities you're letting pass you by, right?
Mhm.
Like if you're in traffic and you let some guy in, like it's just the courteous thing to do. It's nice. It's not like it's whatever, right? But like I objectively get more out of not letting him in and just getting where I'm going faster. And so I get more out of life. I feel like you get more out of life the more selfish you are. But on the same hand, in the other hand, you are less likable as a person the more selfish you are.
Yeah. You know, it's funny you mentioned that because I had this conversation kind of, or like this mental state when I'm with my friend Carter because he's very nice. He's very like, he like shares everything he does. There's just one thing he doesn't like to share, and it's creme brulee. It's his dessert. He does not like to share.
I don't fucking blame him. What do you
Yeah,
mean?
like you know, I've been over to
Hell
this man's
no.
house. He's given me like clothes. He's given me like a place to stay. He's given me a place to use the restroom. He's given me like food. He's given me water, all this stuff. But the one thing I noticed, and I brought this up to him, and I was like, "You don't like sharing your creme brulee, do you?" And he's like, "I don't," and I'm very vocal about that. I'm very, very vocal about that. And when he brought it up, and when I first noticed it was, he wanted a creme brulee, and I brought it with 2 spoons, and he's like, "What the fuck?" And it's just like that's crazy. And like, I don't think that's inherently bad. I just think it's like, wow, like this man who's so like nice and courteous has this one selfish thing. And I think it's good to be selfish. I think it is. There's moments where you need to be selfish. There's moments where it's totally okay to be selfish. And it's just when you find that selfishness of like that one person of what they like, it just means like you get to see like it's not coherently bad. It's just like wow, like this one thing makes this person either so happy or he doesn't want like he just loves this thing so much. Like like I've never seen a man enjoy a creme brulee as much as Carter. Like this man.
Is he shirtless when he's doing it or what?
No, I don't know, but I will say this: he takes every bite with love, and he takes every bite like, oh my god, like this
Is he
is
like
so.
that one ice cream dude who's like, the taste? It's
It's
like
a very mustard taste. It's mustard. But it's just like, wow, like that is so like. I know you don't have any ill intention, but this is like the one where like I remember his roommate grabbed the spoon and he tried to dip it in. I saw him move it. Like just thought that was like, whoa, like
Well, I think
that's always an option, but it's like I find that's very cool. I find that very nice, and I find that like now I know, and now I know your favorite thing, and I know like what like makes you happy. Like it's that one thing, and I'm glad you find that selfish.
what's that for you? What's your crib related to Carnage?
Bars. That was pretty good bars.
I thought that was your answer. You're like geek bars.
Like, I can't.
You got me.
The vitamin water, triple X, acai, blueberry, pomegranate.
That's a lie. You definitely offered me some before.
Damn it. Well, I'm not gonna lie. When I got introduced to that, I remember buying like a whole 6 pack, and I was like, "Oh my god, I want this for me." And I remember my sister asked for one, and I looked at it because she asked from a distance. She didn't know I had some, and I was like, "I don't have it." Like this
I-
is the one I was like, that means one less. But I want to enjoy. I remember just like buying it, and I'm like, I'm gonna take every sip out of this bitch with full grace and tenacity. And then also, I remember when I bought one from Maverick, and I accidentally left it on the hood of my car, and I drove off. I heard the noise of it hitting the ground out of my engine, out of the song, and that was like when my
Did the beat
cranberry.
go
Like,
off?
dude, you ever felt like your one thing you love so much and you have it and then it's gone and you're like, oh my god, that fucking sucked. Like no one died or anything, but that hurt my feelings so fucking much. Like you're like, oh, like you're like, fuck, fuck. Well, you're like, okay, I know I'm gonna have it again, and it's gonna be only mine.
I think for me, when it comes to sharing, I think also the cup of milk thing is kind of revealing to what sharing is to another person, right? Like if milk is considered a communal thing in your house, like what does sharing look like to you? Because for some people, it's like we both drink out of from the gallon, not like straight from the gallon, right? But like I drink from the gallon, you drink from the gallon, and it just runs out when it runs out. But for some people, they're like, that's your half, and this is my half. It's one container, but like I'm expecting you to drink half of it, and I'm expecting you to leave at least half of it for me.
What?
This making me think of when we lived with Guillermo.
Well, you guys fucking devoured the milk.
Well, see, like
don't blame you.
Guillermo, for example, is someone who grew up with a sibling, but I think his sister's at least 6 years older than him. So like Guillermo kind of grew up as more of an only child than he did as like someone with siblings because it's when I feel like when a sibling is more than 6 to 7 years like apart, you don't really think of them as siblings. Like they're still your siblings, right? And you might think of them as siblings, but like in the way that they function in your family unit is different because they're kind of like either a child to you or they are an adult to you to some capacity. Like yes, they are your sibling and yes, you do some sibling stuff, but it's kind of different. Like they're more of like an older cousin than they are an actual sibling, or like this is more of like a nephew to me than it is an actual sibling.
Huh. The mind process that goes with that.
I think at least I don't know. I'm not
No,
a
no,
I
no.
don't I'm not in child development. I don't fucking I don't know, but it seems like I don't know, maybe less, like maybe 5 years or maybe more. Like maybe it's like a bigger gap of like 8 or 9 years or something. But like I think once you get to a certain point, your siblings kind of aren't siblings. They kind of are. They kind of represent a different idea in your head.
I was about to say, no, I don't know. And I get what you mean. It's just like
Like how far apart are you and Diego?
all of us are 7 years apart.
Sure, yeah.
But that's the thing. Like, I consider And that's funny you say that. I
But
think it's just like different circumstances because I grew up with Jasmine. She was 7 years older than me, but she left at 16, 17. But with Diego, I've had Diego my whole life.
that's what I mean though. Like you didn't really grow up with siblings. Like your older sister was always older. She was always out. She was always doing something, and then she left when she was really young. So she was like in your mind an adult because adults leave the house, right? So like she was kind of an adult for most of your life. And Diego, you didn't really have a brother relationship with. You had a very much a caretaker relationship with Diego. Like a lot of what you did and a lot of the way that you communicated was that like I'm thinking of my little brother first, and that's very amicable. That's a very good trait to have as like an older sibling, but it means you didn't grow up with him as a sibling. You grew up with him like thinking that this is partially your responsibility. Like it's partially your job to like show your brother right from wrong because you're his older brother. But that's not what siblings who are born closer together are like.
So like, what do you think that gap is? Like the 3 or 4 years, or like?
I think it might be 6 or 7, like I said. But
Yeah, because I was about to say like,
because I'm 9 years apart from both of my like closest siblings, and I think about it now in retrospect, and I'm like, yeah, it was like that. Like I was constantly policing my little sister's behavior because I thought to some extent like I kind of had to steer her right from wrong because like I'm older. I'm like didn't grow up with her with me being me and her being her, and we're just like siblings, and whether we get along or not, like I felt some sort of responsibility to patrol her actions and tell her right from wrong. The same way my sister was like a lot older than me, 10 years older than me, and we didn't get to have that kind of relationship because I was always her responsibility. Like when my mom left or was at work, she was the one who was like in charge of taking care of me. So we didn't grow up with like a sister brother relationship.
you have that with your sister, or no? You and your sister are like what, like 10 years apart? 11? 8?
8 years apart.
And then you and Anna are just 1 year, right?
2 years.
2?
Yeah.
Oh, so Cesar has the closest thing of like sibling.
Yeah, but like I mean, I'm sure even you can attest that like your younger sister and your little sister, they don't occupy like the same space in your head, right? Like they're both your sisters, right? But one is like this adult that you've grown up with and that you have like different opinions about, and this other one you're kind of like this is a child. Like this is a little kid, like this is
I mean, yeah.
like you probably wouldn't interact with your little sister the way you interact with your older sister. And not just because of the age difference, but because like you're less likely to argue with your younger sister because she's so much younger than you.
Wait, before Cesar answer this. Wait. Before Cesar answer this, how does Cesar act with his little sister?
I don't know. Kind of mean to him. Kind of mean.
I was say my little sister likes to argue with me.
Your little sister likes to argue with you.
Yeah.
Okay. Now, how does Cesar act with his brother?
I don't know. They're just chilling.
Now how do you act with your sister? Now how do you act with your brother?
I don't know.
Because I don't know. I think it's so funny because I haven't seen Cesar with his brother too much or his sister, but I've always had this thought of like how if Cesar, like if someone said like, what's Cesar like? And like, does Cesar have siblings? I'm like, I always think of Cesar with his little brother just always on his lap, just like taking care of him, making sure he's good. That's how I've always seen Cesar with his brother. With his sister, it's always like they're distant and like they kind of talk with each other. There's like a distance, but that's because like every time I have a photo of Cesar when like I came back from Texas and it was him and his brother. He just has him on his lap and he's just like, "Are you okay? Like, what are you doing?" Like already having that like this is a child. I'm gonna take care of him, but I'm gonna love him. They are my sibling, but there's that big gap. But I'm gonna take care of him like it's a responsibility. But I've never seen like too much of like how Cesar interacts with his little sister, and then I see how like Cesar interacts with Anna, and I think it's just funny. I think it's awesome. Like I think that's so sibling like. Like it's just like, huh. I think that's so funny because like I see Cesar like, okay, cool. This is my little brother. I'm gonna take care of my little brother. I'm gonna show him what love is. I'm gonna steer him the right direction. We're gonna have our differences because like he's still growing. I'm already in my state of mind, but he's like this cool little guy that I don't want anyone to hurt. But that's how I interpret it. That's how I interpret it. But I also want to see from like a person that lives with Cesar and sees that almost on a day to day, and then a person who lives that day to day.
They didn't hold sister scared me.
Why?
That one day that you were like barking at her.
What'd she do?
I
Oh
guess
no!
you-
So she's scared of Lola, so I'll like wipe. I'll like wherever I see her, I just go woof woof. And she's like, "Why you do that to me?" I'm like, "Cause you're scared of Lola. You need to get over it."
Yeah. Aww.
That's not the part that scared me.
What was the
It was
part
the
that's...
part that came after.
I don't know which part you refer to, honestly.
The part where she said, "I'll kill you."
Oh. She's told me that a couple of times. I just don't register it.
That's awesome.
I would say there's been times where I get home and she's like, "What are you doing here?" Or she's
I
like,
think she's just mad that we're in a room.
and she's like, "Go away."
Your little sister?
Yeah, she's like, "Go away." I'm like, "Dude, I just got here. I don't know why you're so angry with me."
That's what I mean though. Like that feels more like
I heard that shit and I was like, that registered.
it feels
Yeah.
more like a uncle that's always fucking with you kind of situation more than like siblings arguing, you know.
I will say my brother creates my attention more than like my little sister does.
Oh yeah?
Yeah, because my brother will always come up to me, like no matter what I'm doing, is like always tell me hi.
Well, I think
Aw.
I mean, he tells me hi too.
I think to me as
So
well, like I
caring.
think your sister's a lot less likely to interact with me unless she sees something that like interests her. Like
Oh, like when you were like teaching them like cursive or whatever that was that one day.
what was I teaching?
You were
Oh.
teaching them something.
Oh, I was teaching them origami.
Okay.
But like, yeah, she didn't have an interest until she saw something that she was interested in, and then she was like very interested in it. But yeah, your brother's always says hi. And was like, "What are you guys doing? What are you doing?"
I was like, oh, so my little sister would just demand stuff from me too, which I think is kind of funny.
Wait, what did she demand?
She's like, I want this printed out for me. Or she was like one time she was like telling my mom she wanted like a box turtle, and I got home and she was like, I want this turtle. And my mom was like, if you get it for her, I was like, wait, what? When the fuck is this coming from? Like, I just got here.
She's just warning you. She's like, "I'm not doing a turtle again. God damn it."
I told her I was like, to be fair, she wanted a land turtle, not like
She wanted a tortoise.
yeah, she wanted a tortoise. She didn't want like the regular sliders like I had. So like
She wants
this
a leopard tortoise.
they're still stinky, but they're not as bad.
Yeah, considerably less than aquatic reptiles.
Yeah. But I was just like, she just to go up demanding it to me, and I'm like, why would I give this to you? You're always mean to me. And she's like, she just looks offended. She's like, I'm nice. I'm like, no, you're not.
You were not nice, in fact.
I was like, you literally just like told me to get out of here, and then you asked me for something.
That was beautiful. That was awesome.
That's funny.
Can't wait to have a dog now.
I want a tortoise.
I like turtles.
I want a
want
tortoise.
tortoise.
Now I'm gonna do that at the same time.
Get a turtle.
I want what? No. I want vitamin water triple X.
Yeah,
I just got here.
I brought you some before,
I
Jason.
know, that's awesome.
Well, I'll make sure the sugar-free one. I don't know how much.
No, it's not the fucking same. It's not. That's where I will put my foot down. That is my cranberry. That's my creme brulee. Fuck! I hate the like zero sugar one. Like it makes me mad. Like it utterly upsets me. And like I know people have good intentions, but fuck, dude, it makes me mad if someone pulls the fuck up with zero sugar and fucking vitamin water triple X. I swear it's on site. Like, oh my god, dude, fuck, that makes me mad. If someone pulls the fuck up with that shit,
Would you rather have that, the sugar-free vitamin water, or would you rather have the pear Red Bull?
The pear Red Bull, the apple pear one, or which one was it?
Just the pear.
I don't have I had that?
You said you didn't like it last time. I think.
Marissa, which one was it? It was
It's
like
just the pear. It's the sugar-free pear. It's the green. It's like the light green.
I think it's just because I love the triple X acai blueberry pomegranate.
I remember last time we were talking about energy drinks. Marissa was like, "I like the pear one," and you're like, Yeah, you need to get out with that one. And it was funny because like literally an hour before that, she was like, "Oh yeah, you think people got your back?" And then you tell them you like the pear Red Bull, and then all of a sudden, everyone's a fucking critic. And then we come here, and then you're like, "Yeah, you can get out with that, Chief. I'm not gonna."
I gotta go. I've gotta go.
What's your creme brulee?
Um, I don't think it's like a specific thing, like one specific thing, but if it comes to food, I generally like to share. I like sharing my food a lot, and I don't expect other people to like have to share in return. But I do want like if I think they'll enjoy it, I do want them to at least like try something. Be like, oh, I think you'd like this. Like you should try like a little bite. Like, do you want to? Like it. So like I don't expect other people to have to do it out of like courtesy that I also taste their food because I get that not everyone wants to share. But I think my thing is the timing. It comes off like mad greedy if I haven't taken a bite yet and you ask for some.
Oh, there reminds me of this video I saw on Instagram. This chick is like, "You always do this all the time, and I finally got on fucking recording. That you always ask, even before I fucking take a bite, that you want a bite of my food." That's so funny. That's so funny.
That reminds me of the other one I saw on Instagram where they're like they order at a bagel place and they get their bagels, and like one guy orders, I think he just has like one extra ingredient, and then they're like something something, oh, I got this one, and naming off the ingredients. She's like, ooh, you should let me have some. And like all he did was unwrap it, and like, he was like, nah. And like I saw the demeanor change, and that was awesome. I was like, oh, now I get what you mean.
Yeah, I think it's just like if I haven't even tried it first, I don't want you to ask yet. Like, and if you do want to try it that bad, you can wait. You can wait 1 minute for me to like.
Did you order your own food? God damn.
Yeah, try your food first. How about you try your food first? Get a good.
My creme brulee. Honestly, it's kind of the same with him, but sometimes I do be scrolling away some of like the nice stuff. Like I always love me a Nutella and honey sandwich. Those are my 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 pride and joy. But honestly, it's anything from Tours. Anything. Anything I buy
Really?
from Tours, I'll eat one for the day and then I'll save one for tomorrow.
Yeah.
Like refrigerate like one of those those mocha cheesecake
I
things.
will have one for today, and then I will store this for Cesar to have tomorrow.
What's your creme brulee?
That
A
is sad they have
squirrel
one.
always needs their woodpecker.
Honestly, I don't know if I have one. Like I'm willing to waste like a lot of things. I feel like I don't know anything that in my head I'm like, this is mine. This is only mine.
I think
Is that?
I think the first bite thing also relates to like a conversation with Eddie that I had, and he was talking about like he's like, "Do you know about like the final bite?" And I was like, "What do you mean?" And then he's like, "Oh, you really like food, so I thought you would have known." And I was like, "What the?" I was like, "Okay." And then he's like, "No, no, no, like the last bite." And I was like, "What? Like of food of something?" And he's like, "Yeah, yeah, yeah, like." He's like, I don't like sharing like when I'm at the end of my plate. Or he was like, I was saving something on my plate or something, and like I came back and my mom had eaten it because she thought I was like I didn't like it, and he was like, no, like that was gonna be like the last bite, like that was gonna be the best bite, and he's like, do you know what I'm talking about, like the last bite of a meal, and I was like, I kind of get what you mean, but I don't fuck with it. Honestly, I was like, that makes no sense to me. And he's like, really? Like the last bite's the best bite? And I was like, no, the first bite is the best bite. You have everything on your plate. It's never gonna be fresher than when you just got it. Like for me, the first bite is way more important than like the last bite. Like the last bite doesn't make sense. Your plate looks like shit already. Like you're just scooping up the slop that's left. I don't know. Like even if it's really good and you finish your entire plate, the last bite for me is never as good as the first bite.
Yeah.
And so like I think the first bite for me is a lot more important, but Eddie puts a lot more emphasis on like having that final bite to have like that satisfaction out of a meal.
I get what Eddie means by that, but like at the exact same time, I don't know if I say it's the best bite, but it's just like leaving something left over that you know you're going to like and not like.
Yeah.
Like I guess being satisfied then that that's the last bite versus like something you didn't like.
I don't even care at that point, honestly. I don't give a shit. I'm just like I had my like the first 5 bites of food are like impeccable. They're delicious. I'm hungry. I cannot crave this food any more than I crave it now, and it'll never be fresher than when I'm getting it. On top of the fact that a lot of good food has multiple textures, and anything that's fried or crispy or hard is just gonna be soggy by the time you're done eating. Like you're gonna tell me the last bite of cereal is better than the first bite of cereal?
No.
That don't make sense to me.
I have the opposite problem. I'm at like a state of mind where I'm like, I'll enjoy the food, but as soon as I get to the last bite, there's just something mentally wrong with me that I'm just like, it could be that I'm actually full, or due to the fact that I'm disinterested with eating this. 'Cause, like, I'm done with this flavor. I'm done with this texture. I'm over this, and it's literally like one fucking bite left. I will literally eat something and it'll be one fucking bite, and I'm like,
Yuck.
I'm over this. I'm
You're like
done.
you're like I suddenly feel like I have the flu and I just got a bunch of food smells.
Yeah, no.
Yeah, I feel like you only really do that with sandwiches. Quite fair.
I can see that.
Yeah.
I had this one where my uncle engraved it in my mind. It wasn't until like someone called it out on me. I think it was my mom. But my uncle taught me like kind of young, like around like 17, maybe 16. We were like at a Mexican restaurant and I saw him drink a Mexican Coke, but he didn't drink the last like 10 or like 15%. And I asked him, I was like, why don't you ever finish your Coke? He's like, that's the worst one. You don't ever want. That's where all your backwashes are. Like he said something, and like I think I lost it in translation.
Yeah,
'cause he made
motherfucker,
me-
it's there's spit in there. It's my spit. Like,
Yeah.
oh, I hate when I have my own spit in my mouth.
Yeah, and like
What?
he was trying to tell me in Spanish, but like I think I lost it in translation, and I left that in my mind for so long, and I just remember leaving my Mexican Coke, my canned Coke, anything that like was drink, I would leave the last 10 or 15%. And it wasn't until like I drank beers with my mom. I want to say like last year or the year before, I left. We were like at a bar, and all my bottles had like just that 10% left. And my mom's like, "What the fuck? Like, why don't she finish it?" And I was like, "That's the worst one." And he's like, "Who told you that?" And I was like, "Uncle Chewy." And he's like, "Your Uncle Chewy's stupid." And I was like, and then that's when everything went. Because I looked at everyone else's bottle. No
They're
one
like,
else is
wait a
doing that."
second, he is stupid.
Yeah.
Wait a
No one else did that but like me and my Uncle Chewy. And I was like, what the
Probably
fuck? Well, no, he wasn't really my uncle. He's like my cousin, kind of. But like I saw him as an uncle.
It's beer.
Yeah, so I was just like, huh. But like I just remember like I think I left the bottles there too long, and then one of them was pretty warm. I was like, you know what is dumb? Oh hell no! Like I just got that ick from the last 10%. I was like, ugh.
You thought about it. You're like, you had
Yeah.
the warm beer and then you thought about it just being spit.
Yeah. But yeah, for like almost like 6 years, or almost like 8 years, I just haven't finished that last 10%, last 15%. It's just always been there.